Welcome to the Rural Revival Podcast. I'm your host, Dana Larson. This week we're in Virden, Illinois with Katie Dowson of Seed Life. Seed Life is a lifestyle brand and one-stop shop for all things seed. From selling seed to treating seed to agronomists on staff and even a great apparel line, Katie's sharing all about how she's built this business and carved out her own unique spot in the ag world. So here we go with Katie Dowson. All right, well, we're here with Katie Dowson of Seed Life and the Harvest Sip and Shop in Virden, Illinois. Katie, thanks for being on the podcast.
Hey, thanks so much for inviting me when you reached out. I was very excited, and I've never had this offer yet, and what you're doing is very cool, so I'm excited to be a part of it.
Well, thank you. From what I understand, you've always been an Illinois girl.
Yes, that is right. I was born and raised in East Illinois with my family down south of Effingham, and now I live in Central Illinois with my husband.
Perfect. Well, give us a little bit of a snapshot of your journey from growing up and to what eventually led you to here.
Okay, so growing up, I was involved in agriculture in different ways. I showed pigs at the county fair, and my dad sold seed my whole life. So those were kind of my two areas that I knew about and loved. He sold seed and started out with Northrop King and then went into Crows. So, I grew up on a forklift with him. I was definitely a daddy's girl, but always knew one of my biggest supporters too was my mom. So I'm very thankful for my parents. They've definitely got me to where I am today. That was kind of my background. I didn't grow up on a farm per se. I more so, like I said, grew up with a father that sold seed and a stay-at-home mom that was just the rock of the family. So as time went on, I got really into 4-H and FFA. Loved that, was really passionate about that, and then went to college, got a degree from Western Illinois in ag science with a minor in agronomy, and just really loved ag, but I didn't necessarily knew what I wanted to do. But thankfully for my supportive family, they just kind of helped me find the direction, I guess, that I wanted to go, and always encouraged. And I sold seed a little bit through college, and it paid for school, and I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. And it was just, I never felt like it was something I was totally passionate about, but I loved working with all the customers that my dad had. I liked him being the one to sell and have that pressure, and I just liked working with them and connecting with them and doing all the little things to keep them around and keep them happy. So that's where I really developed a passion for the ag world, and that's really kind of a bit how, I'm sure we'll get into that later, kind of how Seed Life came to be. Was I wanted to be in ag, I wanted to work with growers, but I just didn't always want to be the salesy one or telling them, what they were doing now was wrong and they needed to change to what I was doing. I kind of just wanted to be there on a one-on-one connecting level and working with them. So I had all through those years, I just have a passion for connecting with people, and so that's kind of what I wanted to do.
That's great. Well, now you have this amazing business. So tell us, what is Seed Life?
So Seed Life is a few different things, but like I said, so it was one of those things where I wanted to do something within ag, and so I got to thinking one day with my mom and dad, and I was just like, how can where's my place in ag? Where do I want to be? I got married, so I wasn't going to be right there on my family farm, but I wanted to make sure I stayed connected in ag, and so Seed Life was the answer for me. And Seed Life is a company that is just based on connecting people and working with people and just giving them all the things that they may not get from big corporate companies. I wanted to be a small business owner that could really help change their farm and help make them money and help what they're doing make it better. So here at Seed Life, our main focus, basically, not to be silly, but anything related to seed. We kind of wanted to be a one-stop shop for seed. So they can come here, they can buy seed from us, we sell seed. They can get their seed treated. So if they already buy from a seed salesman that they have a great relationship with, great, but we can treat it for them. So if they would prefer to have us treat it, then we'll treat. So like I said, we sell seed, treat seed, and then we have agronomists on staff too if they have any issues that they need help with or concerns that they just need advice with. We do all of that. And then as Seed Life has grown, other doors have opened for Seed Life. And so if you see on social media, we've really started to reach out to a lot of people that is bigger than it's not just for farmers, So we're starting to really connect through marketing and social media to just anybody that wants to support ag and that's involved in ag. And that's kind of how if you see on, like I said, on our pages, all the gear that we're selling and sweatshirts and hoodies and T-shirts, I started to really get a passion for that, so it kind of came like the third sector of Seed Life. I just thought, as you look around at all the issues on media, all ag enthusiasts know that we need to do more promoting and telling people about what's going on in the ag world. And so I really just wanted to get as many people as possible wearing Seed Life because we're all a part of the Seed Life, whether you're a consumer at your dinner table or you're growing it out in the field or you just date a farmer, whatever your story is, you're a part of the Seed Life. And so we wanted everybody to feel like they could support us and be right there with us.
It's great. It's really become more of a lifestyle brand than just products.
Right. And lifestyles, that's the exact word. That was the goal when we sat down and kind of thought about a business that I could get started with my family's support. That's what we wanted, was a lifestyle brand, where we truly care about our customers and we want them to feel that on a whole new level.
And you're sharing the stories of your customers too along the way, right?
Yes, we are. And honestly, that's my favorite thing in the world to do, is when we get those pictures from our growers just to see what's going on in their life. On our website, there's a section where we have, like I said, things that's going on in their neck of the world, whether it's their kids' basketball games or one of our growers is really, their kids are really into fishing, and so we always share their pictures, and that's what it's all about, and we absolutely love sharing those stories, and it's been really fun as we've shipped out this apparel to I think 33 or 34 states now. It's fun getting tagged in those pictures and being able to share, where Seed Life has made it to all around the world for that matter. We've sold to New Zealand and Australia, and it's powerful stuff just to see everybody supporting ag, and we want to share it as much as possible.
So once you got the concept developed and you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is kind of my vision for it, where did you start?
Oh my, where do I even start telling you? It's a roller coaster. It's a lot of hard work, and don't get me wrong, we are nowhere where we even want to be right now with Seed Life. But basically, what we started with was social media, and that's kind of my passion, is marketing and customer connect, like I said. So, social media was the very first thing we did. And we just kind of blasted ourselves out there. I got a logo made, and I've got a lot of compliments on our logo, and I just really loved what it all encompassed just in a little circle. It means a lot to me. But I got a logo made and made a Twitter and a Facebook and an Instagram and just started sharing our stories and our goals and where we were going to be. And then we went to Morton and got plans for a building, and I guess the rest is kind of history right now, but got the building made, and then last March we started trading seed. And so just little by little, I share on social media what we're doing, and that's kind of how we've built our business, was through social media and people seeing what we were doing and wanting to be a part of it. But I would say to get started, that was our biggest piece of the puzzle, was marketing tools.
Yeah. So did you start with one part? Like, was it the seed treatment that you started with? Or did you kind of know, we're going to do all this, so you just went all in?
So I wanted to be able to work with any farmer, no matter what he planted. I was always intimidated by feeling like I had to switch them from a company that they had planted for 20 years. So when we started Seed Life, I was very determined to make it known that we would treat any seed. And so treating was the very first thing that we knew that we were going to do. And that is kind of like our core chunk of the business that we really promote and that we really want to grow. So yeah, that was the very first thing. And then the other things have kind of developed because of that, as there's been a need that we've seen to try to fit. But treating was our number one thing that we wanted to do.
Yeah. What was the learning curve like?
Well, I'm still on a very large learning curve, I feel like. It's not easy building a brand in the ag world, I feel like. It's a struggle, and you got to really build trust with farmers. And rightfully so. What their decisions they're making on their farms aren't $5 decisions. You know, they're multi-$1,000 decisions oftentimes. And so it's just been a learning curve on how to put my business out there in a way that they'll trust me, and knowing that it takes time. You know, in my first year, you know, we did a lot of business, but you know, we got to keep doing more to keep the doors open and really get ourselves out there. So that's been the biggest learning curve, is just how much time it truly takes to build the right kind of trust and let them know who we are and we're here to stay and we're going to take the best care of their corn and soybeans. I'd say that's been the biggest learning curve. And then as far as treating, that treater back there is a very technically advanced thing that can be very frustrating, but it does a very good job at what it does. So there's been a lot of little things like that I've really had to test my patience with too, but we're getting better at it, and it's been pretty fun.
That's great. And from what I understand, you can choose the color of treatment you want, right? I thought that was a pretty fun question that somebody had asked on Instagram.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
There's I wouldn't say it's just a rainbow of colors that you can pick from. There's probably 5 or 6. And red and green are pretty popular in the ag world. And blue, like I had posted, I love blue. I love purple. And blue is the closest I could get to purple. So blue is the color that we treat with here at Seed Life. And yes, it's just the dye that's added into our treatment. And it's pretty fun to watch that thing go and what it can really provide for those seeds throughout their lifespan. It's pretty cool.
So once things got rolling, did you have a team in place, or is that something you have grown over time?
It's something that we have grown over time. The core team is myself, and then my family is my biggest supporters and biggest fans, so I always like to say that they're a part of this team here. And then, you know, when we got started, we hired people to help us treat, and then we've hired a couple salesmen, and we're always looking to hire more people that fit what we want to do here, but I'm very particular in who we hire, and just because, like I said, it's so important to build that trust and build that brand, and while we're in these beginning stages, it's just so important. And so, yes, as we grow, we're adding and building the team. But none of that was necessarily in place when we got started. It was just kind of a couple of us on a mission, and we're adding to it as we grow.
What's it like for you to be a woman in ag?
Oh, that's a hard question to answer. And that's part of the reason that I'm as passionate as I am sometimes. It has its ups and downs. It has its moments. To be honest, it was something that I totally struggled with in college. I sold seed, and sometimes I felt like I got put in situations that I didn't necessarily love. Funny story, I even had someone one year that wouldn't buy seed corn from me because I wouldn't go on a date with him. So there's all kinds of funny situations that I've been put through, but you know, it made me into who I am, and I couldn't be more proud. I think it is something that is getting big right now, and people are finally gaining the respect and just the love that they need to for women in ag. I don't know why there was such a stigma, in my opinion, with all of that, but I am proud to be a woman in ag, and Instagram has opened me up to a world of other so many powerful women in ag, and it is just so fun to see all these girls that are making a name for themselves out in the ag world. And like I said, I'm just so excited and proud to be a part of that number. And I know that I face challenges that maybe a man doesn't face, but I feel like I'm rewarded too sometimes with some of the things that I've had to go through. And it makes it a little bit more complicated sometimes, and I feel like I have to gain my trust with growers even more than sometimes what the stereotypical salesman might have to. But it's so worth it, and I try to prove to my customers that anything they can do, I can do just as good. So it's going good, and like I said, I love it, and that's why I share my story on Instagram like I do and get it out there, because the more the better.
Absolutely. Well, you have actually created an event for women here, and it's called the Harvest Sip and Shop.
Yes.
It's such a fun idea. Tell us all about it.
Thank you. I'm so excited about that, and I was just blown away by that event. I started planning that because of the passion that I have for not only just women in ag, but just women and the need to be connected to more women. And I started that event, and I got to planning it, and I just picked all my favorite boutiques, and they came, and then just the women that flooded through that night, it was so fun. But yeah, basically it's the Harvest Sip and Shop here at Seed Life, and we have it once every fall, and it just started last year, so the second annual will be this year, and it's just basically 10 to 15 of my favorite boutiques. And I've had other boutiques reach out to me that would be great additions. Every year it'll be a little bit different, but it's just a women's only event. They pay a small fee to get in, and with that, they come into this big building with all kinds of fun stores for them, whether it's decor or clothing or really awesome boots. We pretty much had it all last year, and I hope we'll have that again. But it's a fun event, and it's amazing how things like that are just so needed. You know, I thought it would be 40 women come through trying to support me, and we ended up seeing about 160 women come through that wanted to hang out with their friends and meet other women in ag, and it was just a really fun night.
I love it, and I hope I can come sometime, because I think it's a great idea.
Yes.
And your idea behind it really was because you wanted to give women a little break from harvest in the fall and give them something fun to go do, right?
Right, exactly. Harvest and fall is such a crazy, busy time. And when I was thinking about just myself, you know, you're midway through October, you're 2 months into harvest, and it can be stressful, it can be lonely, and it can just be very tiring. And I knew how I was feeling, and I was like, there's other women that are feeling like that too. And I wanted them to be able to get away, have a fun event for a few hours to just kind of break up harvest and remind them that the end is near and that they're amazing for what they're doing. But yeah, that was what it started out. And then, of course, there was so many more women that came besides just women in ag, which was so amazing and so cool to see all of their support. But yeah.
Any fun surprises planned for this year?
I do have a few surprises up my sleeve. I have actually a decor lady that I really love, and if anybody follows me, they could probably figure out very fast who that is. I won't mention her name. I want it to be a little bit of a surprise, but I'm going to have a lot of her pieces here, and I'm really excited about that. And they're based around just home and agriculture and just all the things, you know, loads of laundry, just she has a lot of cool pieces, so I'm excited to have those here this year.
Well, what do you love most about farm life?
So I would say that my favorite thing about farm life is just the work ethic that you gain from it. Like, as I said earlier, you know, later on in life, my dad had started a farm, and I learned more in those 4 or 5 years of life than I did ever on just how to work hard for what you want. And I'm excited that I married a farmer, and that our kids will be raised around that, and know that, you know, with a little bit of hard work, things can happen for them.
Yeah. What excites you most about agriculture today?
I think what excites me the most about agriculture is it's just a world that isn't going to go away. Without agriculture, you wouldn't have food and you wouldn't have clothes on your back. So it's something that's here to stay. And just looking around the agriculture world, it's just so exciting. The opportunities are absolutely endless, and the technology advancements are just so cool. Watching that seed treater back there run, it's amazing that we can do that with that seed and help protect it from insects and help protect it from water and soil-borne diseases that it may come across. I mean, that's pretty cool. And because of that, we can produce more of our crops and thus feed more of a growing population. So it's just really cool to be a part of this industry that just never stops growing.
Tell us about your town of Virden. You're kind of new here.
Yes.
But what do you love about it?
So I actually live in Verden, and this Seed Life business is in Virden. The line is just right in between for those two towns. But to just speak for this area, I just love that you get the small town feel. You have your FFA at Virden, and you have all these awesome restaurants around the square at Virden that I love to go eat at for lunch. You get the small town vibe, but yet you're 20 minutes from Springfield if you need to go shopping or if you need to go to a nice date night. So I guess those are some of the things that I like about this area, as the small town feel yet close to the big city.
What have you done to get involved in the community here and to meet people?
So I guess that was another reason that I did the Harvest Sip and Shop too, was to connect with people around here. I will say that's something that I've struggled with a little bit. I'm not a super put myself out there as far as friends kind of thing, like I love putting myself out there on social media, but messaging someone and saying, hey, I want to be your friend, let's go hang out, or, however you say that. I'm not super good at that. So that's what I try to do to connect to people in the community is having fun events. And then this apparel line that we've just started, that's helped me really connect to local people. And I love that. I deliver to some people or they come and pick up, and doing those extra things on the side with this business is what's really been able to help me meet more people.
Great advice. So your husband's a farmer. What role does he play in Seed Life, and how does that all work together?
Well, it works pretty good, honestly. For number one, he keeps me sane. So that's his number one role, and he is very good at that. Most of the time, I have very stressful days. I have days where I come home crying. Just entrepreneur life isn't that easy, and he is definitely my rock and my number one fan. So that's his biggest role in Seed Life, is just being there for me and keeping me sane. But he also helps me treat seed whenever he has time. And so he farms year-round, but spring and fall are obviously his busier seasons. He's still very busy in the winter, don't get me wrong, but it is a bit of his slower season, so he can get away a day or two a week sometimes, and he comes and helps me treat seed. So that is very nice. So he does play a big role here at Seed Life. I'm very grateful for him.
That's awesome. Do you have any advice for people thinking about starting a new business?
So my biggest advice is just to not give up. It's not easy, and it's not something that happens overnight. There's still days, like I said earlier, where I go home crying or I'm upset or just been a long day, but to just not give up on your dreams. And if it's something you want to do, it sounds so cheesy, but if you set your mind to something, you really can accomplish it. You just have to be willing to put in the work and the hours. And like I said, know that it just takes time, but it's something that will be so worth it in the end.
Yeah. What's been the most rewarding thing out of this journey?
I think the most rewarding thing for me is seeing all the people that support me. It amazes me every time that I have a grower that signs up to get their seed treated with us, or I get an order online from an old family friend. It's been so fun and so overwhelming sometimes, the support that I've received. And that has to definitely be the most rewarding thing about this business. And then besides that, what I really love about this business is that whatever I'm doing, one day my kids will be able to do right along with me. So I'm really excited about that too down the road.
Well, what's next for you and for Seed Life?
What's next for Seed Life? Well, I want to just continue to build trust with local growers and get more business from local people. We're so new to the game, and there's so many great ag companies that are established already around here. And so it just takes time, like I said earlier, building that trust. And so I just want to continue to do that and get more business with these local guys and just be able to touch more farmers and more acres around here to show them the benefits of our products and the quality of care that we give each one of them. And then, like I said, all those extras that we can provide for their farm and their family. And as far as me, I'm just enjoying the married life and enjoying growing this business. It takes a lot of hard work, but I'm having fun, and hopefully I have some kiddos to join me in the next few years.
That would be great.
All right.
Well, how do we follow along?
So to follow along with us here at Seed Life, we have Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and they're all at Seed Life LLC, so super easy to find us on social media. That's the best place to follow us. We have a really awesome website, www.seedlifellc.com, and then we also have our merchandise website, that's shopseedlife.com. So there's a lot of different ways to stay in tune with what we have going on around here. And then I have my personal Instagram that I absolutely love too, and that's kind of just where I promote everything, entrepreneur life, farm wife life, and just women in ag life and life in general.
And Harvest Sip and Shop has its own Instagram too, right?
Yes, it does. So if you follow Seed Life, you'll quickly find Harvest Sip and Shop and my personal page. So yeah, I have a page for everything, just because I didn't want to flood Seed Life's page with a bunch of girly things. So yeah, I have an Instagram for Harvest Sip and Shop and a Facebook too for that. So be sure to follow along on all of those pages.
Okay, and everybody go check out the merch page, and let's get this in all 50 states.
Right, yes, Heck yeah, I'm missing a few and would love to get them to all 50. That's definitely a big goal of mine.
Well, I love that the heartbeat behind this business is really celebrating people, and how Katie is finding fun ways to do that through her website and events like Harvest Sip and Shop. Be sure to check out the show notes and go get some of your own Seed Life apparel. Thank you so much to Katie for being on the podcast, and thanks to you for tuning in. I'm so honored that you tune in and week out. I love getting messages from you about how the podcast is impacting your life and your business and your town. If you could take a minute to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or whatever platform you listen on, that would be amazing and would mean so much to me. And don't forget that you can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, or Stitcher. We'll be back next week. Have a great day, everybody.